Hi everyone, thanks for coming along today. We're just going to give everyone a quick minute to join now that the link's open, and we'll be with you very shortly. Well, hello everyone. Welcome to the CQUniversity webinar this afternoon. For those of you who I've not yet had the chance to meet either personally or online, my name is Bronwyn Barch. I'm the Director of International at CQUniversity, and I'm based at our Brisbane campus. And I've got both the pleasure and the easy job today of introducing a number of our team from CQUniversity. So before I get on to introducing everyone, just a quick bit of housekeeping to let you know that we just have everyone on mute at the moment, but if you do have a presentation, we'll be able to take questions and answers there as well, and certainly there'll be some information put in the chat box as well. But we're really glad you could join us here today, and we're looking forward to this afternoon and talking with you. To formally kick things off, I know we have a lot of people joining us today from many different places, all over the world actually. And this week in Australia is known as NAIDOC Week, which is the National Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Celebrations Week. And it is really meant to celebrate one of the oldest continuous cultures in the world for our Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders. So to welcome you all here today, I also want to acknowledge that whilst we come from many different lands, in Australia, we're all of us also joining here from many different places and lands. And I'd like to take the opportunity to welcome you in the traditional language of the Turrbal, Yagra and Yugara people from the Brisbane area. So when they say hello, they say Galung Nurawinda Woo, which means hello and welcome. So hello and welcome. And we look forward to talking with you today about our construction management and project management programs. Now, joining us today, we're very fortunate. We have three of our team from the academic staff who teach in the program and coordinate the course. So joining us today, we have Dr. Ronald Webber, who's our Associate Professor in Construction Management. We have Dr. Pushpitha Kalutara, who's our Head of Course in the Built Environment, and Dr. Ziad Abunada, who's the Head of Course for Project Management. And for those of you who haven't met Jack, which I think a lot of you will have, we also have Jack, who's helping us coordinate today. He's our International Recruitment Executive. And we're also very fortunate to have both Alison and Lizzie, who are, Alison's our International Business Development Manager. Alison's based in Melbourne, and Lizzie is also our International Recruitment Executive based with us in Brisbane. Jack is in Sydney, for those of you who are curious about where Jack is joining us from today. But without any further ado, I'm really happy to hand over to
So good everyone. So my name is Pushpitha Kalutara, and I am the Head of Course Built Environment. As many of you know recently, so we are going to launch our new Master of Construction Management course from 2021 next year. So because of that, we thought in this webinar, I and Associate Professor Ronald Webber will talk about this new Master of Construction Management covering important areas of this course. Next slide. So this is our, I think, the first informative slide with the purpose of today's webinar. And you can see, first I will go on the photos. So you can see a number of building products or built environment. So I will start with, I think, the bottom bottom left. You can see the black and white photo. It shows the Crystal Palace in England, which was built in 1851. So then moving clockwise, then you will see the next photo. We can see the Suez Canal in Egypt, which was built in 1869. And further towards those photos, you can see the Eiffel Tower in France, which was built in 1889. And so, and our fourth photo, I think that photo takes us to the 20th century construction. So you can see the Golden Gate Bridge in United States of America. And it was built in 1937. And then comes to the, I think, the famous Sydney Opera House in Australia, which was built in 1973. And after that photo, I am moving to the one of tallest skyscrapers in that time. So in 1999, Burj Al Arab in United Arab Emirates. So we found a quite taller skyscraper. Then the next photo, we all, I think, were lucky to actually see this, the tallest tower in the world happened in 2010, which was the Burj Khalifa in United Arab Emirates. So, and the last photo, I'm referring to an infrastructure, which was in Hong Kong, Shanghai Macau Bridge. It was built in 2018. So, so why I actually showing all these building products? Because all these things related to this construction management. So as an approach to actually come into this construction management, I have shown these building products or built environment. So now I'm actually I'm going to talk about this this model. So so looking at these building products, what will you say? Because these products was not built overnight, or it was not occurred quite easily. So instead, it took a long time period to build these building products, and also they have to follow up a systematic process to do this construction. So, so all in all, I can say that any project happening anywhere in this world, they are going through a building life cycle. So that means I think several stages they have to actually followed on. So basically it starts with the feasibility or conceptual design stage. Then after it will move on to the design stage. And after that, it goes to the actual construction stage. And finally, it will be the maintenance and operation. That means the building is going to start, or building is going to perform. So in this today's focus, I will actually go into this design stage and the construction stage. So in the design stage, we only have an imaginary picture of what we are going to build. But in the construction stage, so having this construction followed up, we can actually convert this imaginary picture to the real picture. So real building product happens only going through the construction stage. So now you can get some understanding why this construction management is important. So I have only talked about the construction at the so far. So construction management means this construction cannot be done quite easily, as I said earlier. So we have to be aligned with kind of restrictions. So in that case, we have to align with the timeline the clients have given. We have to align with the budget, the bucket of money we have been given. And also we not only this timeline and the bucket of money or budget, we have to actually build this to the standard. So that means we have to maintain the quality. So so I will say construction management means we trying to actually do this construction effectively and efficiently, managing the time, managing the cost, and managing the quality. So Shall we move on to the next slide, Jack? Yes. So after giving kind of a understanding about the construction management, I would like to actually take you onto the construction industry in Australia as well as the other countries in the world. So when I referred to the 2016 Australian Bureau of Statistic data, we identified the construction industry generating the revenues close to 134.2 billions per year in that 2016. So that contributes to the 8.1% of gross domestic product of the Australia. So when we rank this construction industry among all other industries, we can actually place the construction industry as the fourth major construction industry who contributes to the revenue of the country's economy. On the other hand, if you look at the generation of employment, the construction industry has produced 1.1 million jobs to the Australian people in 2016. As a percentage, considering all other industries' jobs, it is close to 8.8%. So as a rank, construction industry is the first first among all industries to generate higher number of employments to the Australia. So now you can actually get some idea that how this construction industry is critical to Australia. So now I am moving to the worldwide view. So in 2018, the statistics says construction industry revenue generation is close to 11.4 trillion US dollars. So that is a huge money. And in the figure below, you can see, I think, the all over the world, they're actually participating in this construction industry, and construction industry has been critical to their any of the country's economy. You can see, I think, looking at the figure. So let's move on to the next slide, Jack. So thank you. Okay, so while we have seen the significance of construction industry to Australia and other countries, but this slide mainly pertinent to the Australia. So while we have that kind of, I think, the impact from the construction industry, we have also found, I think, there are major challenges in construction industry. The major selected ones actually came from some government reports. And one among the list is the slow to innovate industry. That means the construction industry always actually go on traditional way, and they're actually adopting to the technology and the new innovative practices, but it is a little bit slow compared to the other industries such as manufacturing industry. And also another challenge is, I think, most of the construction projects we have identified, they go over time and the budget. So that is, I think, a significant challenge we are currently facing. And also we have experienced another challenge with the productivity. So how to actually manage our human resources, our equipment, our tools. So how we actually better manage those things, increasing the productivity. So that is another challenge. And so among the list, I think the fourth, you can see the safety of ensuring the safety of workers. I think construction industry is one of the, I think, one of the major industry heavily actually affecting from this number of injuries and number of deaths while working in the industry. So this is also a big issue at the moment. And lastly it is the skills and labor shortage. So this is mainly related to what we are actually talking today. So that's why actually I have circle 8. So skill and labor shortage is, I think, one of major challenge identified by the construction industry professional recently. So can you please go to the next slide? So, and the Department of Jobs and Small Business of the Australian government, they have identified, I think, out of this skill shortage by occupation, there are critical occupations. They are actually heavily impacting with this skills and labor shortage. So one of them is architect, then architectural draft person, building associate, construction project manager, surveyor, urban and regional planner. So I have actually circled construction project manager to our Master of Construction Management course. So you can see that the rationale coming from kind of a systematic way through this presentation. So we are targeting construction project managers from our Master of Construction Management courses. So let's move on to the next slide. And so 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 in this slide, I'm trying to actually give the basic idea what is the purpose of an award of a Master of Construction Management. So I'm not intrinsically referring to the CQUniversity. Any university, any education and institute following Master of Construction Management, they should actually have this type of intention. So the main intention of a Master of Construction Management should be improving the knowledge level and the skill set of the construction professionals currently working on. So the main intention is to promote these construction professionals into the higher level construction management, because higher level construction management require a improved skill set, improved knowledge level, because otherwise they can't actually negotiate with building owners, property developers, and subcontractors involved in this construction process. So, and also as the construction management, their main responsibility is to ensure projects are completed on time and within budget. So having these project management skills, I think, with their, I think, the role, these courses should also target the specific knowledge level, specific knowledge areas related to the construction, namely construction development proposals, construction contract management, construction measurement and costing, construction procurement management, construction design management, and construction scheduling. So these are very specific to the construction industry. So I'm now actually handing over my microphone to Associate Professor Ronald Weber. So he's the coordinator of this new Master of Construction Management. So he has a better idea of how it applies in the CQUniversity and what is the course content and all these things. So I'm now passing my microphone to Ron. So please, Ron, go through this rest of the slides.
Yep.
Thank you.
Pushpita. Look, firstly, welcome very much, and just a little bit about myself so you know who I am. I've got about 30 years experience in the industry, undergraduate qualifications in building surveying, building design, education, and a couple of postgraduate qualifications in business administration and project management. And my doctoral thesis was microeconomics. I'm also a fellow of AIB, a fellow of the Royal Institute of Chartered Surveyors, a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Building, and a fellow of the Australian Institute of Project Management, to name a few. Now, I guess the most important thing here is, as Pushpita has already pointed out, that it's a big industry, lots of money and lots of jobs. And that's one of the reasons that you will be looking for a return on your investment. So briefly, what do we do? Construction managers plan, organise, direct, control the physical and human resources and coordinate the likes of civil engineering projects, building and dwellings, small. And I just make the observation as being construction manager myself, it's just as hard to manage 20 small 2-story building as one 20-story building, if not harder in my opinion. Factories, warehouses and industrial complexes. So all those sorts of things, those infrastructure projects that the community and that need. We've got some courses nestled within the course. So we've got a certificate and a graduate diploma and the master's itself. So you can progressively do those or move out. And so we've aligned ourselves fairly closely with project management. So for those people that prefer to do project management, the first 4 units are project management. And so you've got a choice at that particular stage. We're running the course out of Brisbane and Perth. Those are the 2 locations, and it's face-to-face. Now, sorry, I can't move something. So, Jack, can you just move it on a few, please? No, thank you. Next one, please. Yes, that's what I want. So here's the nest of units. And to make the first observation is construction manager is the generic name for people involved in the construction area. So, but there's lots of subcategories. So you can do whole position as construction procurement, construction scheduling, construction cost management. And what I call also that the specialised contractors, that's the people that do the big parts of the construction, also need construction and management people to relate to the construction manager on site. So we've got the first 4 units, project management concepts, initiating project planning projects, lean projects, and executing closed projects with the same 4 units as in the Masters of Project Management. And one of my colleagues will talk about that later on. Then we've got some specific units, construction procurement. Now, what's difference between this and normal procurement is that you need the specialised knowledge to procure the products that you need that need to comply with the Australian standards. So it's just not a matter of buying glass, it's buying glass that complies with the Australian manufacturing on glass. The risk of the project, and as Pushpeter pointed out earlier, construction on time. And that's what project management is, one of its main purposes, to get people to sign off at agreed times, at agreed processes to ensure that the project is produced on time. So if you've got a client, for example, that wants to open a retail store before Christmas, he doesn't want to open it after Christmas period because he wants to make money through the pre-Christmas and Christmas sales. So it's very important that the project is delivered. And that's a risk as well as human risk. Contract administration, that's the law of contracts and the associated administration of those contracts, because you don't want to get into legal disputes if you can minimize that or eliminate that. Construction technology is about the technology and making sure that you comply with the National Construction Code and the Australian standards to reference in that document. Construction land planning and building legislation is about the land planning. So governments look at census data and they look at their own data, and then they plan the developments of the city based on immigration and population growth. So there has to be schools and hospitals and all those other things associated. So that's the land planning. And then the building legislation is the specific requirements that the building must be built to. In some countries, you don't have those standards and you have major faults in the building. And we don't want to get involved with litigation of that. Construction measurement is taking measurements of materials off the plan. And then we have some engineering research project planning, construction cost planning, building information modeling, and then a research program. And we're looking at now making sure that we do introduce by early next year the internship as well, which we haven't done at this stage. Okay, Jack, next one, please. Just while we're talking out, there's the Graduate Diploma in Construction Manager, serves as an exit ward to the MCA. It aims at extending students' knowledge and establishes deep foundation knowledge focused on major construction management components, construction risks, as I said. This is just, next one, Jack, I've gone through most of these now. Professional accreditation. Well, In Australia, the main body is the Australian Institute, or it's the Royal Australian Institute of Building. It, as at this stage, is giving us a preliminary letter, so that they've given us preliminary accreditation, but they will not accredit any course until after the first graduates come out. But rest assured, I'm the chair of the accreditation committee on a number of institutes, and on that basis, I make sure that this particular master's complies with their requirements. So in the not too distant future, we hope for full accreditation and maybe accreditation from other institutes. We're looking at construction managers' salaries. It depends, but at a commencement state, and this is Australian, it's about $81,000. And then you get up to the full construction management. So there's a bit of mismatch here. Under the project management side of things, we have a project management, a program management, and a portfolio management. So usually the project manager, in our real terms, under the real theory, is the program manager who might manage a number of big buildings, and the project manager or the construction manager manages one of those buildings. So up to the top end, about $250,000. The minimum, the mean salary is about $156,000, and job opportunities are quite considerable. So generally, if I'm looking at, from my perspective as a student, now I didn't do this initially, but later on I did when I was looking at my postgraduate courses, which course do I do and how does that affect my employment and my future prospects? And so that's the main consideration. So finally, I'd like to thank you for all your time and viewing this brief overview, and hopefully you will get back to us sometime in the future. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Rob. This is Ziad Abunada, and I would like to thank everyone for giving his time and coming to this webinar to be briefed about our programs in CQ. I'm the head of course of project management. I've been having my PhD in sustainable engineering from Cambridge University in the UK. I did work for industry in different project management fields. The last one was as a procurement manager with the World Bank in the Middle East. Before that, I was a program manager with the international organizations, the Human Appeal, the UK, based in Manchester. And then I started to shift to academia in order just to get more flavor about the academic life. In today's presentation, actually, I'm going to present the project management course in CQ. And before I start, actually, I would like to just brief everyone how we are as a team in project management at CQUniversity. How do we feel about project management courses? Project management is not only a science, it's an art, and it's a practice. And we do appreciate that our graduates have to enjoy the three types of competencies in order to be really well established to start their career after they finish their graduate or their degree from the CQ. We are fortunate at CQUniversity in course project management due to the diversity of the team who's teaching this course. We've got multiple people from different backgrounds. They have really very diverse and wide industrial experience as well as academic experience. And we can feel that the appreciation and the acknowledgement of the course from the students, from our alumni. We are fortunate now, we've got like a bunch of students who have already graduated and they started their work in Australia. And we can see the input that the employers are how they are looking at our graduates. So basically, if I start from the entry requirements for the project management, because it's not a unique discipline, we are offering this project management to any background, including students coming from engineering, business, IT, construction, health, government, mining, and we do have this diversity among our students. So the program actually does have lots of students coming from different perspectives, and this what makes additional specific flavor for our course in terms of the discussions happening during the course and the case studies that we are dealing with in our units. Thank you, Jack. If we want to look at the project management in general, we can think, I think, based on what Ron and Pushpita was talking about, this is actually research or from literature coming from the job growth about the project management. If we look at the 2 years between 2017 and 2027, we can find how many job opportunities being developed over the expectation to have the project management graduates to occupy these career. This is actually across different countries across the world, and it's very obvious that we are going in upward direction with a steep slope going upward towards having demand on project management job opportunities. By 2027, employers will need about 18 or 88 million individuals working in project management. And the reason why I would like to emphasize that this is because when we are talking about project management, we are not limiting ourselves to a specific field. As what we saw from the first slide, project management has a diverse background from different disciplines. And this means that any project, regardless whether it is agriculture, health, construction, IT, needs some project management competencies in order to be managed. How we are looking at the project management. As I said, this is the project management has links actually with different fields and different disciplines across the different schools of education. Not starting with marketing and moving clockwise, passing the engineering, the construction, the IT, and ending with the welfare. All these disciplines, whether you are with a health background, agriculture background, engineering background, you need to absorb some of the competences of project management skills in order to be able to manage any project in any field. And what we are trying to emphasize in our program is that when we are offering our assessment, our case studies actually span from health, construction, IT, agriculture, and very different fields in order to cover the need when the students to match the students cohort that we are teaching within the course of project management. If we define the project management actually it's the application of the skills, knowledge, tools, techniques to meet the needs and expectations of stakeholders for any project. And when we are talking about stakeholders, it means that we are talking about not only, we don't need to have a project manager who has really good capacity and good skills as arts and crafts, because we are not only dealing with things, we are mostly dealing with people. And when we manage people, this is when we come to managing stakeholders. Stakeholder management actually occupies a very significant amount in our course in different units. We try to expose our students to diversity of stakeholders at different levels based on their interest and their power, and we give the case studies that will tackle the stakeholders at first, because we believe that students or graduates from project management discipline need to go out and start to work with people, not only with things. And as we said, project management is not about the reaction. It's like the creation and the prediction and the prevention of the event to take the lead. Now, the course of the project management, one of the key things that makes project management course at CQ unique, and why I'm really having it, I feel like it's an easy thing to market our project management course, to be honest. It's because of the design of the project management course at CQ. CQ master program, it's mainly actually targeting international and domestic students from Australia, but we have about 90+% of our students are coming from international students. 9 to 10% are domestic students. The good thing about this program is that at any point over your course, over the master program, you can leave the program and you will be getting some award. So if you decide to leave the program after the first term, and you are successfully finishing the first term due to any reason, it doesn't mean that you wasted your time. It means that you will leave the course with something we call it a graduate certificate of project management. This is, you are entitled to achieve this certificate once you finish the first 4 units, which is the first term of study of your Master of Project Management. If you press check, those are the first 4 units. We've got like project management concepts, initiation and planning, leading lean projects, and executing and closing. And if I want to comment on the design of these units, actually, we tried to look at the PMI, Project Management Institute. I will talk about how we are building the relationship with the PMI, but we look at the PMB book, which is the Project Management Book of Knowledge, Body of Knowledge, and the design of our units is to tackle the processes into the BM book. So our course, if a graduate completed our course and he wanted to go back to his home country or her home country or wanted to work in any different countries, the language of the project management that we are teaching, the competencies, the basics, the skills, the knowledge, it's all coming from an international, reliable, credible source, which is the BM book. So we are exposing our students as well to the PRINCE2 in case of, which is UK-based standard, in case of the students wanted to be exposed, because Western Australia, particularly the projects and the industry in Western Australia, are mainly working on applying the PRINCE2 guideline in managing the project. Now, the other exit is happening after the second term of the study. So our course, our Master of Project Management, is 2 years. For the first term, you can end up with a graduate certificate in project management. If you complete 2 terms, which means one year, and you wanted to go or to leave for any reason, then you are entitled to have something we call it a graduate diploma of project management. This means that you completed the first 4 units, which is the graduate cert, plus another 4 units, which is contract and procurement management, program and portfolio management, complex project management, and research and project management. And we believe that covering the 8 units in 1 year, it actually puts you in a very good position to be able to understand most of the things about the project management, which means that you are not only having a diploma in project management, but at the same time, you are also have the competencies and the basic needs to a deep level, to a very considerable level of knowledge in order to go and start practicing project management. So, yeah. The third thing, actually, if you want to carry on, which means that you will go for a Master of Project Management, CV 84. So now, if you want to exit after the first term, you will get a graduate certificate. After the second term, you will get a graduate diploma. If you continue for the next year, you will be ending up with a Master of Project Management. So the difference between the graduate diploma and the Master of Project Management is coming in the next slide, where we have the students being exposed to 3 different streams. So after you finish your diploma, in order to be eligible for a master degree, you need to go for one of the 3 streams that we will show in the next slide. Yes, so the 3 streams we are talking about, which is in the middle, it's an optional stream, and the students in project management need to complete 1 stream only. Either to go for a research by taking 2 units, which is planning and implementation, which a research to investigate a key issue in the project management field. It could be like an IT domain, it could be in business domain, it could be engineering domain, regardless, depending on your background, the student's background, they can explore research in that field. The second approach is the internship, which we can see that it's highly dominating the other 2 streams, because the internship actually provides a shortcut for our students to have secured some jobs. I don't have any exact rate about how many students are securing some jobs once they go to the internship, but I can say that from the last term, when I took over the role of a head of course, we've got more than 50% of our students, although it was a COVID-19, that manage to secure their jobs after the internship. So to go for the internship, you need to communicate a unit, which is an elective unit, Business 2017, which is a communication, effective communication, because we believe that you need advanced level of communication if you are working with people in a real life. Then you have another unit called Management Unit from the School of Business and Law. And then we have the internship, which is the PMP 2017. The third part, or the third stream that the student can pick, is something we call practicum. Again, the practicum actually works as a backdoor for our students. Both the research and the internship streams require some specific requirements, or have some specific requirements in terms of the GPA, in terms of completing some units with a specific GPA in order to achieve and enroll in the research and internship. If a student cannot go for either internship or research, they might go to a practicum. And the practicum actually is all about agile engineering, where students are working on a prototype, and they will produce a prototype, and they will practice the real life in order just to cover some aspects of the internship, because actually they wouldn't be able to go for the internship. So we ensure that our students are not going to be like in a dilemma if their GPA doesn't serve them or allow them to go for internship or research. And the third one, actually, which is the elective, is the major that our students can go have their elective from one of these fields, and they will end up with master project management / major in health, information technology, information system. They need to take the electives, so they can do the major, which is the third to the right, elective. They can end up with a master project management / major in IS, information system, because they can finish the 4 units in the information system. For example, if you want to have a master of project management major in information system, all what you need to finish the first unit in the course, which is the concept of project management, plus 3 units coming from IT. And those 3 units will work as elective. So your total credit points will not be exceeding the total number, which is the 96. The research stream is actually providing a good opportunity for students who are looking for academic career. They want to enroll in a PhD. Successful students who finish the research stream, because it covers more than 30% of research amount in their program, they are eligible to go and enroll directly in a PhD. And currently we've got 2 students who are already completed the research stream and enrolled in PhD. One of them actually, Roxana, is based in Sydney. She managed to secure 3 awards this year. She participated in different symposium, and this will give you an indication about the quality of the students who are joining the research stream. And this is exactly what we are looking for. For the internship, as I said, we are actually working very closely with the internship providers. We try to sign a contract and MOU, memorandum of understanding, before we start, and we agree on the tasks and the duties that the student will do. The students will be having a supervisor in the field and a supervisor from the university. They work with each other, and then they will provide a shared evaluation sheet for the student. The students need to present a report as a portfolio about his or their journey during the internship. And most of the time, I think this ends up with successful employment within the same institution. As I said, the practicum is the third choice, where the students can join the practicum if they don't want to go for internship or research, or they are not capable of joining the internship or research, and they will be able to produce or to be exposed to a certain limit, an environment similar or mimic the real internship. Now, why CQ? I think this is the main question that everyone is thinking about. Before COVID-19, actually, we put an application for the PMI, Project Management Institute, based in US, for accreditation process. Our application was accepted, and we had a scheduled site visit on March 2020. because of the COVID-19, I think everyone is aware of what happened. They delayed this site visit, but recently we are having some close connection and contact with the PMI, because they will start having something called virtual site visits. So I think we will resume our accreditation process sometime, maybe end of this year or early next year. And we are very sure that our program will be one of the, I think, few programs in Australia who've been accredited for Project Management Institute. The second thing, I think, why people should think about CQ, a project management program, is the flexibility. As you saw from the slides, we are offering the students 3 different options to go through their career, depending on their GPA, depending on their achievement. And this made actually clear enough from the first day when the students are coming to the project management. They want, like, we made it clear for everyone where to go. If you achieve this level of GPA of achievement, you will be eligible to go for research or for internship, because internship actually, one of the requirements for the internship that the students need to pass at all the units with no fails at any single unit to be eligible to enroll in internship. The other thing about CQ actually is the flexibility of the CQ. Not only from the exit award thing, which means that at any level you will be ending up with a certificate, but also with the diversity of the impact that we have in terms of collaboration. We've got people in project management working with with different industrial institutions. We work with international providers, with international universities. Our research actually started to build up. At the same time, we are offering the project management in multiple campuses across Australia. We have project management in Melbourne, in Sydney, in Brisbane, and in Perth. These, back again, the industries that we are looking at, the students, the jobs, and I think no one can deny the fact that we still have more demand on project management skills and competencies to operate and manage any projects. It's a multidisciplinary, and this is like a brief about the project management salary and employability perspective in Australia, and how we can look at I think for a fresh graduate, it's really looking, I'm very sorry because it seems like I can hardly read what is in the slide, but I think if you are talking about a project manager, you are talking about between 160 and 200K in terms of a permanent position. If you are talking about a contract, you are talking about something between 1,000 to 1,000 or 1,200 per day. The median salary in US dollars is actually, if you want to look at this, this comes from the PM salary survey from the PMI Institute. It looks promising, to be honest, and compared with other industries. Thank you very much, Jack.
Thank you very much for that really interesting talk there. Now I'm just conscious of time as well today. I know we want to get some questions to come in still, so I'm just going to quickly cover through a little bit of additional information which will hopefully help you answer some of those questions. But of course, if you haven't if you haven't got answers to your questions, please do submit them through the Q&A section or the chat section at the bottom of your screen. Let me just move this. Okay, so first of all, we didn't cover this, but the admissions requirements for both of these courses. So for the Construction Management Masters, we are looking for a completed 3-year bachelor degree or equivalent in one of the following areas of study. That's architecture, building, construction management, engineering, or project management. And as Ziad touched on, for the Master of Project Management, we will take any completed 3-year bachelor degree of any discipline or equivalent, or of course a graduate certificate, preferably from CQ, but of course I'm sure we can also consider other entry points as well. Also, just important to note that both of these courses require the same IELTS score of 6.0 with no less than 5.5 in each component, and there are other English tests also that are equivalent to that too. So briefly mentioned this, but the availability, so initially the Master of Construction Management will be offered in Perth and Brisbane campuses. but like the project management course, it will be available in all 3 terms, term 1, 2 and 3 next year. And you can see there the fee per term at the bottom of the screen. The slight advantage, I guess, the Master Project Management has is that it's just available across multiple more campuses. The fee is a little bit higher there. So we really wanted to touch on scholarships very quickly, and I'm sure you've all been receiving lots of information about the scholarships that CQ offers, but really the 2 main scholarships here, the International Student Scholarship and the International Student Scholarship Regional, they are both worth 25% of the entire tuition fee. The only difference, of course, is that the International Student Scholarship is available just in the metropolitan campuses, so in Brisbane, Sydney and Melbourne. And of course, the eligibility requirement for that scholarship is an overall grade of 65% or equivalent from your previous studies, whereas the regional scholarship is essentially available to everybody studying in one of our regional campuses. Just an additional scholarship as well that we've introduced for next year, or we've been running this year as well, but something's already committed to for next year, is our early bird. So this is for you, any students or any students that may be looking at one of these courses to begin next year. By applying early, you can see the dates here. So by accepting your offer, meeting the conditions and making a deposit by these dates ahead of the terms, you get an additional $1,000 off of the fees, and that's applicable to both of these courses, but it's also applicable to all of our courses. I won't go through this too much, but we will be sending the slides afterwards to you, of course, with some other content. And this is just really interesting to look at both of these courses. Of course, they're really super interesting courses as being covered, but it's also good to know about the different scholarships and how they would affect the fees for your students. So just definitely have a look at both of these courses and the fees that will be available once the scholarships have been added. And I'm sure you'll agree it does make them very, very affordable. And finally, really just wrapping up before we move on to the Q&A session, just a couple of don't forget points. Our deposits have been reduced for onshore students as a trial for this upcoming term, which is obviously just beginning, but also for term 121. So the deposit for a COE is now just $2,000. That is just a trial at the moment. I know there's been a lot of questions recently about the Destination Australia Scholarship, and of course that will be applicable to any of our courses available regionally. And we're just at the moment just still waiting for a little bit more information before we can obviously commit to announcing what that scheme will look like. So please just hang tight, and we'll be contacting you as soon as we've got that information. And just don't forget, of course, we accept all of our applications through the StudyLink system. Our term 3 has just begun. It's begun, courses teaching began on Monday, but we are still accepting applications for any courses up until the end of this week. So if you've got any last minute students, any last minute transfers, please definitely do consider CQ for the end of this week. Enrollments close at the end of next week. So that is it really from us today, talking about the Master of Construction Management and the Master of Project Management, and a little bit of general overview as well. So what we're going to do now, we've still got around 5 minutes or so to have a quick Q&A session. So I'll be welcoming back all of the panel members who have been speaking, but also my colleagues Alison and Lizzie. I think Bronwyn may also be joining us. So if there are any questions, please do get them in if you haven't already. I'm now just going to hand over to my colleague Lizzie, who's going to handle the Q&A.
Great, thanks so much, Jack. So we'll just kick it off. We have a few questions, first of all, regarding the Masters of Construction Management. So what job opportunities can students expect after graduation, and what is the approximate starting salary? If Ron, you'd like to take the reins, or?
Depends on the economic conditions, but generally, construction management or construction area is one of the highest employers. So that's what I was trying to point out to students. So we gave you the average figures, starting salary of about $81,000 and up to a full construction manager that's running a multi-story building up to $250,000. But there are also a complete set of subset of employment opportunities within some, and I outlined some of those. So construction procurement, construction contract management, construction scheduling, all those sort of facets are in there. And what's happening too is that specialised as contractors, so they're the contractors that work with construction management. So people still think about it in the old days where the builder employed a whole lot of people that work for him and build it. Well, he doesn't. He employs a whole lot of subcontractors, and they need specialised construction management, construction manager to interface with the construction manager on the main job. So there's lots of jobs opportunities. It is one of the highest employers in Australia. And I think it's moved to second position recently, but it also will relate to the economic conditions. And I've pointed out that this is just not an Australian employment opportunity. There are opportunities overseas in many countries that are looking for construction people to manage the project.
Great, thanks so much, Ron. We just have one more question that's come through for the construction management. They just like, if you could just please repeat the information about the professional accreditation for the program.
Okay. The Australian accreditation is the Royal Australian Institute of Building. We have preliminary, so they accredit most of the university courses in an undergraduate degree, or the majority of university courses, undergraduate degree in building and construction management, and master courses. So at this stage, they've had a look at our documentation and they've actually approved it, but they, on a preliminary basis, but it's not fully accredited until we have our first graduates. So we haven't got our first graduates yet, so that won't happen until roughly about 2023. But I don't see any reason why we wouldn't get that accreditation.
Just to add something onto that one, Ron, because we have actually got the re-accreditation from the Australian Institute of Building for our bachelor construction management courses. All these courses I think re-accredited, and in those meetings I think we already talked about this Master of Construction Management. So they have actually given the preliminary approval. Once actually we produce the graduates, then they will consider about giving the full accreditation for the Master of Construction Management.
Thank you. Just moving on to a few questions about internships. Someone has asked, are students able to choose to do the internship, or is it compulsory within the programs? And also, what companies or organisations can students expect to be placed through for the internship?
Thank you very much, Lizzie. No, the students have the choice to pick any stream out of the 3 streams, as long as they are meeting the requirements. Internship is on high demand, as I said. We are working with some internship providers. It's different actually institutions. We try to meet the student background if they are coming from IT or civil engineering or business. So we try to allocate them to provide internship that suits their background, where they wanted to be feeling more comfortable when doing the work because they are familiar with the language, terminology, and others. We have a wide range of companies, from mega companies to small ones. And we are working with WELL, which is something called work integration, work learning and integration. So we are liaising either directly to the companies, or we can ask some internship providers in order to extend and to increase our selection pool to provide us with potential companies, and the university pays for this service to the for internship providers. So they are working as agents to connect the university with the industry. Sometimes the university provide this directly. Sometimes the university asks those agents to provide internship, and then there is a contract, an agreement before we establish this internship.
Perfect, thank you. I've also just had a question come through regarding the interaction between international students and domestic students, and the level that is and how it will work, and also what the plan is for term 1, whether it will continue to be online or whether we'll be back on campus.
I can start if you like, Ziad,
yes,
around that. Yeah. One of the things I know international students, and in fact our domestic students, are keen to do is interact with each other, because the different perspectives we all bring to the classroom is so valuable and so interesting. So in your classes, you will be mixed with students from all over Australia, all over the world, you'll get to share their experiences. And I'm sure our professors here today will also have many practical examples of where that's happened in their lectures and classrooms about students interacting. Outside of the classroom, there's also a lot of opportunities for students to get involved, whether that's through student clubs, sporting activities, and clubs that share common interests. So esports, for example, or all sorts of different social activities. So plenty of opportunities on campus to mix with that. I'll touch briefly on the online and then I'll hand back to you, Ziad, to do that. Certainly for term 3, which started this week, we are still online. But having said that, we're starting to bring classes back face-to-face where there's a need for practical, so especially, for example, in health and other areas. So as the situation in Australia continues to improve, that decision around classes and teaching will be made in the best interests of safety for all our students and staff as well.
Thanks, Brian. I would say our assessment in many units actually are group assessment, and most likely we prefer random grouping. We don't we prefer we push towards that students are not organizing the group formation with their friends, so they might end up with some domestic students. I have to be fair because of the low numbers of the domestic students actually compared to the international. That's the only challenge that we can see. But I was teaching procurement management last term. We've got international students who did actually work on the final assessment with domestic students.
Great, thank you so much, everyone. This kind of brings us to the end of our session. We have run over time slightly, so thank you so much for your patience. It was really lovely to have you all here, and thank you so much to our academics that took the time to come and teach us more about these wonderful programs that we'll be introducing. The presentation will be sent out hopefully by the end of this week, so if you do have any further questions, just let us know.